It was 1830 on October 10th, 2023, and it's Councilman Gabriel, Councilmember Rodriguez, and Mayor Pro Tem Bavingas. This time I will establish a quorum for a regular meeting. Will you please rise and pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time we'll move into public comment and presentations. Someone want to speak for the holiday committee? You would, Commissioner Marks. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Eliza Duncan. Tonight I'm here on behalf of the Holiday Event Committee. So we met for a second time this past Saturday, and we would like to try and get some answers and help from you council members. We'd like to host a city event on December the 2nd, and that would be a gingerbread house contest where anybody from our community can bring a gingerbread house contest, and we would make you guys the judges. You'll vote, and then so a gingerbread house contest. What we're trying to do is get the community involved and work with our businesses here on Main Street and ask, I'm told in the past there was kind of this contest amongst subdivisions that decorated downtown storefronts. We'd like to do that again. It won't cost the city any money, but basically the reason why we're doing this is it would be part of this contest of decorating downtown into the park. And decorating the park, we would also allow our community to take a section of the park and decorate it. So that would say, council, we do that. And then things like one of the extensions of doing the gingerbread house contest, and I wish Roger was here, is to let us annex what's called the Candy Cane Lane, and to take the idea of doing the gingerbread house on a smaller scale and let people have a bigger house using little pikes and redecorating. So that would be another contest that the council could vote on. And to do all of this, we would need your permission because at some point we need to promote it to the community, and we would like to, as a committee, have a booth at the Fall Festival and start promoting this event so people can get ready and make their gingerbread houses, come together, and then partner with local businesses to start decorating downtown for Christmas. And we need some kind of guidance on how to promote that using the city as like the park. Just a question for us?
So what do you need from us monetarily to do something like this?
Yes, great question. First was, and I forgot to mention that at the end of all these contests, the winners would be announced at the tree lighting, which we've kind of done annually at the tree lighting. And one of the things that Terry Goodlow brought to your attention last week was that the tree does need some pieces and supplies to kind of get it functioning again. So what we're asking the city is we'll need to make the investment to replace the items from the bulbs that are out or missing pieces to hold the tree together. And in addition, to try and have another activity, which we've never done before, which would be like an ornament making, because we have these trees, but they have no decoration. So if the city would consider purchasing these ornament ornament making kits, and they can be very inexpensive, something like from Oriental Trading, then the public could make these ornaments and hang them on the tree, whether they're inside the pavilion or here in City Hall where there's another tree. So those are the items we're asking for.
And I do believe Kevin also, some of that can be, if possible, purchased through the Parks Department. So I know that we were talking to Kevin about that also. So maybe through this, maybe do that. The council decides. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and if we could, so the reason for this is why we would ask for the permission and then we can promote it is we need about a week to put it together, whether it's a flyer, you guys have your eyes on it, say it's okay to promote. And then if we could have a week and represent at the Fall Festival, which is 2 weeks away.
So our choices, I think, at this point is what, put it on the agenda for the next meeting for approval, or we're going to get staff direction to purchase those items?
It's up to y'all. You can get staff direction or we can put it on an agenda. When's the tree lighting gonna be?
So that would be Saturday, December the 2nd, which right now we have asked for the date to be held, but in addition, if you guys like the idea of doing the gingerbread contest, we also need to ask for Friday, the 1st too, if that's hoping that it hasn't already been reserved, because if we're gonna do it, we're gonna ask people to drop off the gingerbread houses.
You talking about the pavilion?
Yes, the pavilion.
Well, we can't make motions right here, so.
Right.
So we can give, just say we're gonna give staff direction. So I'm okay with staff direction.
Me too. Do I have an unlimited budget? Or what budget would you like to use?
So we're talking, what all purchases, because I know you give us a list, or I should have read this list.
He only submitted the email to you and
Okay.
Christmas tree materials, lamp light bulbs, commercial grade extension cords, and cable racks. Alright,
that's for the trees. And then the activity would be at least the ornaments, and the extra ask would be cookie decorating.
cookie decorating, cookie decorating. Is there another word there, or not? No, just cookie decorating, okay?
So for the ornaments, I'll already talk to some of y'all about this. Can y'all get me a list of what ornaments y'all want? So I can go and find 500 different ones. I want to make sure it's what y'all want. The cookie decorating, as long as we don't hand out cookie dough, I don't see a problem in that, because I could lead to people getting sick. Fixing the trees, not an issue, but of course we'll do that. I would say yes to the booth at the Fall Festival.
And can we decorate the park?
So I know we can't make any motions, but I mean, I've kind of thrown this around and I've worked with the holiday committee, also worked with Peggy, and I would like to take, again, we can't make a motion, but you guys can set a limit, so, being that everything that they need, and we're not saying they're gonna use it all, I would like to give them about $3,000 for everything. Because 3 to 5, and because we don't have the line item for it, we do have the money in our full cash. And this is for the entire city park. It's for finishing downtown, finished off the big tree. There's gonna be a tree inside the, pavilion. There's gonna be a tree up here, so we're talking about there's quite a bit for them to have to get, to pull all this off. So, that's my thought. 35.
It's Christmas.
And it's working.
Well, in that case, I want an $80,000 tree. He said his grace was great. So not exceeding 5,000 is that direction.
I was gonna say 500, I think I lost it.
And I'm saying they're not gonna use all of it. But again, that all probably needs to try to go through one of us and with Kevin, so that it's kind of receipts and all that it's accounted for and, but.
Yeah, I think that is.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms.
Karina Phillips.
Good evening, council. As you all know, I am the city's court clerk and currently the only paid city hall employee. I am coming here before you all in hopes to have some of my questions answered. Now, we all know that we are going on almost a year without a city administrator, and I would like to ask, why are we not hiring? Do we not have qualified people applying to our vacant positions? And if we do have qualified people, why are we not doing everything that we can to get them hired on? I was told we possibly had a good candidate with over 10 years of city administrator and city secretary experience who was interested, and that she is what the city needed. Then on Thursday, I was notified that she had pulled her name out as a candidate. Why is that? Why is it that it seems that these candidates are being scared off? It is vital that we get a city administrator because we do lack a leader in our office. I do not know the days our Mayor Pro Tem comes in, and when people call asking to speak with him, I just have to say that I'm sorry, I don't know his schedule. It is sad that we're going on almost a year without someone in the city administrator role. I first myself applied to be a city administrator, but was told I was underqualified, but would be a great asset as a court clerk. I was interviewed and offered the position. I was never told we had one-to-one retirement, no sick time, no vacation time until after a year, and only 5 paid days of maternity leave. I found all of this out a month when I was finally handed an employee handbook. Before accepting this position, I made sure to let our Mayor Pro Tem know that my husband and I were family planning and that I needed to find something that would work best for us. Now, through these 3 months, I've endured so much mental anguish. This city is in so much turmoil, and we as employees do not have a leader to help us mitigate the high waters that we encounter on a day-to-day basis here at City Hall. I have contemplated many times whether I should or should not speak today, but I feel the Lord put me in this position for a purpose. The purpose to fight for change, to fight the good fight in hopes that we can heal as a community and for once move forward. I am here today to give you a little insight of what I have encountered during my time here. We as employees were told we were going to go to a 2-to-1 retirement after our budget was finalized. And when we asked, we have thus far received 4 different answers. Those being, we don't have enough money, it is built into the budget, there needs to be a budget amendment, the council needs to approve it, which if that was the case, why hasn't it been put on the agenda? We had an incident where an officer's child support was not being paid, but being taken out of this officer's check. And the Attorney General sent us a letter notifying us that that officer could be arrested for non-payment when we had a letter sitting in our vacant city administrator's office since July notifying us of the non-payment. We've also had, We've also had issues with employees' TMRS not being paid since January. TMRS is called wanting to resolve this issue, but it just gets swept under the rug. We have an officer's 457 not being put into TMRS, but being withdrawn again from his paycheck, but not being inserted into TMRS where he's missing out on interest accrual. We have a public works employee who is waiting for a TMRS form to be signed to be credited his military time so that he can be considered vested with the city. I have citizens coming into the office upset that their emails are not being responded to in a timely manner. I'm being routed calls now asking about our new judge's start date. Now, how would I know as a court clerk when his start date would be if I'm not part of the hiring process? Also, when I was going to go to court training, I was told it was pointless for me to attend if I had thought about leaving and finding a different job. I mean, who could blame me for wanting to leave if I had been told on many occasions that our Mayor Pro Tem is just waiting for me to walk out so we can just close City Hall? Now, how would that be fair to our citizens of Godley? We clearly lack communication between our Mayor Pro Tem and the staff, and if it weren't for our department heads and Misty, of course, I probably would have walked out by now. Now, Mayor Pro Tem, I'm not going to discredit you either, because when I first began, you showed up every day and helped me out throughout the office. But once it was said that you were not going to be our city administrator, we just never saw you as much. I feel that was unfair to us as employees, because you still have a duty to serve this community. We cannot continue to dwell on the past, and we as a whole need to look towards the future and heal. If you guys have any additional questions, please feel free to meet with me. I'm here Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. It's just time for us to move forward. We deserve it as employees, and the community deserves it as well. Thank you for your time.
Just to mention that the candidate has decided to reconsider.
Our city administrator? That's good news.
So we're working on it.
Okay.
Whoever signed up second, I'm not going to pronounce your names, I'm going to butcher it really bad.
It's Dewana.
Dewana.
Come on.
Yes, ma'am.
Council, thank you for letting me speak before you tonight, and I appreciate your time. My question to the council is, what is in place for the people of Godley who need assistance with their water bills? I've only lived here since April, and me and my husband are both disabled, but we had assistance through Texas Neighborhood Services. And when we moved here, I was told that the city of Godley did not accept Texas Neighborhood Services. And then today, I found out we did. So that is a very good resource for our people in Godley. If they don't know that they accept that, all you have to do is fill out an application, and they're really good about helping others. But I've been months, I'm sorry. I know that we have 2 months to catch up on our bills when we're behind. But during those 2 months, we also need to stay current on our bill that we have every month. And I know that it's hard. Sometimes it's easy to get behind, sometimes we shouldn't get behind. But I feel like that after the 2 months, it's just we get disconnected. You turn the water off, which I understand as a city, we need to have a budget and there needs to be something in place. But from what I've understood is that what's in place is if you don't catch up on that bill within 2 months, you're disconnected, period, point blank in the comment. I've heard the saying, and I've been told this a long time by my father, which is deceased, but he says, we never know what other people are going through. We never know unless we walk in their shoes. And we need to be nice, and we need to understand their circumstances. And in today's world and economy, I think it's just as hard for y'all as a council as it is for us as citizens. Our bills have gone up for groceries, our bills have gone up for electricity, they've gone up for everything. And so it's hard for all of us. What I'm asking is that I feel like that there needs to be a protocol of I feel like the city council needs to revisit the payment and when you get behind and everything. And I ask y'all to revisit it and maybe put a council action plan or a city action plan in place, because there are people that do need help even 2 months out on their bill. It's hard to catch up. And I know as a citizen that if you don't have water, you're in trouble. It's something that you have to have in life. And there are places, I know there's a lot of places that you can go to get assistance. But some people don't, like me, I was told that Texas Neighborhood Services was not accepted here, and then found out that they were. And the lady with Texas Neighborhood Services that had helped us with our electric bill told me, she said, when you move to Godley,
call me and we'll help you with your water bill. And so I'm just asking today if y'all would revisit the city council's plan, because right now I know that after 10 minutes you get turned off. If you're not current, or you have to pay your current bill, and then you have to pay those 2 months, I'm just asking that there's maybe some type of protocol that we can put in place for citizens that need assistance. Now, I know we have to be held accountable for that, completely accountable. And if just say, for instance, y'all give us, we say, okay, we're going to put you on a payment plan, and you can pay $30 until you pay it out. If we don't do that, I understand you have the right to come to the all money. But I just feel like our citizens of Godley need a chance to be able to catch up, because, we're all going through things. I'll put it like this. Right before I came up here to talk to y'all, I dropped this phone, which I got 3 days ago, and put me in a bag of barbecue sauce and threw it in the sink. And nobody knew that happened to me. So, the saying about not knowing what a person's going through, that's completely true. But I just ask that y'all revisit it and maybe come up with a protocol on how citizens that are behind on their water bill or something can get help. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
I know one thing that I am looking at, and the court clerk and I have been talking about, is through one of our programs. They do have something where we can start, maybe put $1 additional on all the water. And again, this is a council decision, discussion later.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
there is a program that offers us to do that and to put it into a separate fund. And that way then, if people are having hardship, they can make their case to the city, and the city can pull money from that fund to possibly cover it. But again, that's something that we are just looking into, so that'll take time. But I know, like with the water bill, the council decided if you're over 2 months, you have to pay half. Then the other half of it goes on the next 2 months. So it does allow for a top-up payment plan, but it spreads it out over those next 2 months. So to put it 30, if you have a larger bill, it could drag it out, and then it just accumulates larger on 2 month bills for that citizen. So that's the way we kind of try to come up with a reasonable way to do that. But again, we know there are special circumstances.
And also one thing, a lot of people probably don't know, my insurance, I have an OTC card, and I can do food, utility bills, or something else. And so I was able to call United Healthcare the other day, and I get, I'm putting a little bit too much out probably, but I get $150 for my card. And I was able to call United Healthcare, and they called Godley, because Godley is not signed up to their program, but they called and made the payment for me for $150. And there's a lot of people that probably don't know that either. And I'm not saying I'm young, but especially the elderly people, that they don't know that they can use that card to help pay their electricity or water bills.
Well, and hopefully once we get more staff, and again, it's not an excuse. Right now, we're doing the best we can with what we have. But hopefully, all of those things, there'll be different programs put into place to help our citizens more once we get the proper staffing in here. And but we are vigilant to that, and we are passionate towards what's going on, because we hear it every day.
Right, and I appreciate y'all for your time and for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for public comment. Greg, if I don't call your name here in 6, Steve, please remind me.
It's L, sorry. Yeah. Thank you, I appreciate it.
At this time, we'll close public comment and move into our discussion and action items. Item 6A, discussion and possible action on the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer. Please, Secretary.
Mayor Pro Tem, can we move these till Roger gets here, move these down? Say to the bottom.
for A, B, and C?
Yes, sir.
We will move items A, B, and C to after item 12. Item 6D, discussion of possible action on codifying by ordinance all mayoral powers of the city of Godley.
I'm still studying on this, so I'll make a motion to postpone until 10/17. And there's no need to publish LGC or print out LGC 22. I'll have 2 pages to read the permit.
Got a motion by Scott, I'll second that. Any further discussion? No further discussion, Scott?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Item E, discussion of possible action on accepting a donation from Godley ISD Police Department for 36 doses of Narcan nasal spray.
Hello, Council. Chief Quintero had an overstock of Narcan nasal spray, 18 boxes with 36 doses that he would have donated to the Godley Police Department. He wrote a letter which submitted to y'all. He'll also submit it to D as well. So I'm here today to have y'all vote to accept the donation.
Make a motion to accept item 6E in its entirety.
I'll second that. We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion, Scott?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item F, discussion of possible action on the resignation of Officer Rizzo from the Godley Police Department.
The sadness, Officer Rizzo has accepted another job with the Godley ISD Police Department. Mainly just the main fact of it works better for her family. The Monday through Friday, send holidays off. Works better for her family. It's nothing against the department, nothing against the city. So I'm here today to, ask for them to accept that resignation.
Make a motion to accept Officer Rizzo's resignation from the Godley Police Department.
I'll second that motion.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Scott, you might have made your motion to make it effective October 20th.
I do not. Make a motion to amend my motion to make the resignation of Officer Rizzo effective October 20th. Sorry, October 20th.
I'll second that. Any further discussion on that amendment? No further discussion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Amendment passes unanimously. I am voting on the amended motion of accepting Officer Rizzo's resignation effective October 20th. Any further discussion? No further discussion, Scott?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. G, discussion and possible action on approving a lump sum payment in the amount of $9,723.48 to pay off existing TASER agreement with Axon Enterprise.
So October of last year, the prior city administration did a 5-year contract for 6 TASER settings. I recently found that out and it was given to me, which y'all have as well. I'm actually asking the council to go ahead and pay that outright, which will save us an additional $3,241.16 over a period of time by paying outright. If we do the contract, continue each year for the next 5 years down the road, it'll accrue interest. By doing this, we pay outright the $9,000, which we do have in our full money paid outright, and just be done with the contract.
I make a motion to approve a lump sum payment in the amount of $9,723.48 to Axon Enterprise.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? further discussion?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Item H, discussion of possible action on accepting a donation from Blue Stem Cattle Company to the City of Godley Fire Department in the amount of $1,500.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I have a motion to accept by Misty. Second. Second by Scott. Any further discussion? No further discussion, Scott?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item I, discussion and possible action on approving the minor plat for the Encore Chocolate Edition.
H. Oh, they just, oh.
So in your packet, we talked about this for a couple times, they denied it last time, I got a hold of Encore. They made all the rules edits, took a couple times, but they did it right. So I'll make a motion to approve the minor plat for the Encore Chocolate Edition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion, Scott?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Item J, discussion and possible action on adopting an ordinance to provide for a process for petitions for release from the city's extraterritorial jurisdiction. Due to the legislative changes, people are now allowed to remove themselves from our ETJ. We recently had a petition, but we had an actual process. This ordinance will give that process, the fee schedule, and anything else we need for them.
Move our fees to the office. Make a motion to accept item 6J, to adopt an ordinance to provide for a process for petitions for release in the city of ETJ.
We'll second that. I got a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Scott?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item K, discussion of possible action authorizing the mayor pro tem to post a RFQ for engineering services on behalf of the city of Godley. So this one's going to take a little bit, I need y'all to give me some information. On page 1 of that RFQ, we need to know page 2 by page. When do we want to have them submit everything? Evening. All I can agree with, but we are on item K. We're going over the RFQ for engineering services.
Should we set it at 30 days? Month? You want to play a time game yet?
I would say probably November 21st. A little over a month.
When's the new plant due to be finished?
The package plant or the new plant? All that, we'll see.
Pretty soon this year?
Maybe. I think they're almost done. They should be wrapping up the refurb on the old plant So we're about to switch over and take the other stuff down for maintenance. So we approved 4.5 million, I think. That wasn't just the package plant. That was to start the new plant as well, if I remember correctly. So the package plant, I would say that even it should be done. Mostly on the gators. Right, I'll give it November 21st, or let's go November 14th, and then we can look at them on the 21st. Or you want to get one in a month?
What's the general response time for these, in our experience? Has anybody got back to us on the forensic audit?
I was gonna say, is we're getting slow responses to kind of a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of engineering firms getting done. All right, we'll get an RFQ back in 89, we'll get that ready.
We can always extend it if it does, we don't get it.
Okay.
Just don't
20
count
years, probably 14.
years.
Or we can make it all the way through the end of November and decide in December.
I'd like to set it for the 14th and then extend it at the end. Robert?
Definitely, sounds good.
So we must have everything submitted by the 14th of November.
Maybe a month or 1 month. Less than that.
Then on page 3 of the RFQ, list of non-mandatory pre-proposal meetings. If I can remove that, or we need to set a meeting date. Or I can just talk to these firms as they have questions.
I'll just do that.
Alright, so the responses to the RFQ would be no later than November 14th. By 5 p.m.
Yes.
And then on the next section says the following schedule for the ranking and selection of the qualified city engineer. Dates are subject to change. 1, the evaluation team will review and rank the responses by, there is a table on page 7 and 8 of the evaluation criteria. I'm not sure who the evaluation team is going to be by chance. Any weighing on that?
You can see, it needs to be, it could be, probably needs to be less than the form of the council. If you had staff, I would say, your staff would be involved in that decision as well. And in the absence of staff, there's really no one else to evaluate considerations. So, less than a form of you can evaluate the proposals and then make recommendations to the council.
So for number 2, November 21st. Or would y'all rather do November 28th? We closed it on the 14th.
We give us 2 weeks to review it.
Yeah, the 28th would give us about 2 weeks.
That sounds good.
And the selected finalists will be notified on or about, do you want to do December 5th? And then start date December 12th.
Sounds great.
That's all we need to probably get into that. Make a motion authorizing the mayor pro tem to post an RFQ for engineering services on behalf of the city of Godley.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion, Scott.
Aye.
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 You're right.
Getting close to Halloween.
Item 6L, discussion and possible action on hiring a third party to review, investigate, and revise all city ordinances, all department SOP/SOGs, employee handbook, and other policies and procedures as the council directs. Randy, would you like to come up with?
Kind of before I start, I want to remind you I'm speaking on a specific agenda item tonight, which allows you to enter into ask questions. You're not restricted by tone because this is a definite agenda item, if you're correct. So you guys can ask me as many questions as you like. I can go over as much as you'd like to go. So number one, is the city a local government code Title II, Chapter 22 type of government, and do you follow that as written? Yes or no?
Yes, we are chapter 22.
And do you follow it as it's written? Or is that the intent?
That's the intent.
That's the intent to follow it as written. So section 22.042 mandates that the mayor shall at all times and shall cause at all laws, ordinances to be carried out, and any negligence or other violation to be punished or prosecuted. Voting yes on 6L can begin this process via an investigation into the police department. Does the city council expect the city's employees to follow all ordinances, codes, procedures, orders, and laws as written? Are they expected to do that?
Yes.
They are. I have brought complaints against some of the police officers, laid out a lot of evidence up to criminal complaints. And your police chief is well aware, has been made many times of this, and he has not followed his general orders regarding an investigation. Specific form or mechanism to initiate a complaint is required. The obligation is on him to follow up proactively to pursue that. Your action on 6L tonight can start the investigation process into that. Does the Godley Police Department have to follow their own general orders, yes or no? They were done in 2022. Are they expected to follow those? Is that the expectation?
Yes.
The general orders state in part the supervisors are responsible for the discipline and held accountable for their actions, and they shall investigate all complaints of misconduct. Your supervisors had failed with this again. Your action on 6L tonight can initiate this process. Again, as you stated, the Godley Police Department are expected to follow the general orders. The general orders state in part that the investigation will be conducted by an investigator assigned by the chief for a class 1 or a criminal complaint, which is what I've brought numerous times, and that an outside agency can conduct these types of investigation. Once a complaint is made, only 45 days are permitted to complete it. How long have I been complaining about this? His obligation is to come in here and be proactive about it. It's not my job to hold his hand and drag him along the process. Do you think that the new chief, with his 1 hour of online TCOL training into internal affairs investigation, is capable of doing an investigation of the scope that I've asked you guys to look into? Back to the general orders. They state in part that supervisor approval is required for applying for an arrest warrant. Lots of signatures were made on that arrest warrant. And maybe the investigation can deep dive the field training officer program and all the missteps on the arrest affidavit, the notifications and supervisory approval, including missing signatures, proper checks and balances. I don't know what's worse, the fact that they used a poor little Officer Templar 3 weeks out of the academy to do their dirty work, or that the council's unwilling to do anything about it. There's a lot of blank signature blocks on these forms. Verbal will not fly in the investigation. Verbal will not fly in court of law. So going and asking them and them saying, we did it correctly, that doesn't fly anywhere other than if you guys are going to allow that. Action on 6L will help move this forward. The general orders also have a formal promotion process. Do you know that that formal promotion process requires them to post the process and advertise it? Open records, they weren't able to prove that they did that. It's kind of ironic that the little blue folder that the former chief passed out said that Mr. Arbuthnot, or that Officer Arbuthnot, turned down a job that he was offered and had a start date in Joshua PD months before he was promoted, and told everybody he was going to be sergeant here in Godley. Do you know that the Godley Police Department allows for the chief the opportunity to require these officers to take a polygraph test? There is one requirement. Me, the complainant, must submit first. I'm ready. Are they? I bet you Jim Thompson is. It's in their general orders. Just takes them to do it. I'm ready to do it. I'm going to finish off with what your oath was. You all, affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office council member of the city of Godley, a general law municipality located in Johnson County, Texas, and will do to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Texas. So help me God. Great news means I can start that right now. Hopefully it'll be outside Johnson County. Thanks for your time. If you have any questions, let me know, because I got plenty of all the documents I just said if you guys need to support it. You guys like to see any of them?
Give me a copy of what you have.
I've given them all to you.
I've got them, I've read them. Okay, anything?
All right. If you have any questions about them, let me know. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
So item L is not exactly that, but it's to review, investigate, and revise all of our city ordinances, which we all know are from the 80s. Whether or not they'll meet current day standards. We ran into some issues on SOPs and SOPs on both PDs and the fire side. Our employee handbook is from 2017. It's out of date, doesn't follow HR common practices. And we really need to review any policies and procedures that the city currently has.
So not exactly that means what?
That's not the intent of this, but, I mean, I guess it doesn't encompass it.
Given that, I think I'd like to hear from council on this, maybe executive session, just to go over some things that, some questions that they have.
At council's discretion,
And then we can go on to A, B, and C, right? From there, as well.
Are you okay with going into executive session for that?
Okay, how long we come back here and discuss? I still want to discuss it in front of people. I don't think I understand maybe questions we need to ask it. Well, we go ahead, Roger. Well, number one, I say hiring a third party. Who, what, and how much does that cost? And those people that do this, companies that do this.
There are companies that do it, or attorneys can do it, she's an HR attorney. Before I ask them to do all these things, I want to bring it to council. I don't want to say, hey, spend thousands of dollars. That's all the council wants.
Is there any way we can have a commission, volunteers in the city to look at this and do anything with it? Is that legal? Is that possible? Is that save us the money, get to some of the, wheel it down to where we actually need an attorney looking at it? Like if we have 3 ordinances that are on the books, but they all kind of say the same thing, then they can bring those 3 to us and say, hey, these say the same thing, vote to consolidate it. So we didn't have a committee looking at some of these items. The handbook employee handbook, we were going to do that. I think what the cost was going to be, but we wouldn't pay the people that wanted to do it in the past. They we wouldn't get government check to get started. But again, a committee of the citizens could come back with employee handbook recommendations from other cities or wherever. Is there something like that possible? So hiring somebody right off the top of it, right off the top.
I would like to leave this on the table for our administrator to head up so that they can actually do the research into every department to find out where we are, what we need going forward. And I think the administrator, to use this as a tool to gain in the litigation that we are currently dealing with, I do not think is proper at this time. So I think this needs to be, the administrator needs to do more research than us just saying all of a sudden now we want to encompass all of these things into one. I do know that I spoke with Dean, and a lot of these things that are being brought before us needs to have this reply that these things are dealt with in litigation. This is not our job to handle these issues when it comes to some of the things that are being brought to us. So we need to keep that in mind.
I understand about the law. I'm just saying we do need to probably review our city ordinances.
I
We
agree.
can set that, we can set the standard operating procedures and standard operating, what it stands for. Guidelines of it. We do need an employee handbook. So some of the stuff we can get working on. But we need to go back in the back and talk about it. I don't mind doing it. Or table it for a later date so we can actually direct somebody to do it. It's fine, but we need to get, like I said, 8 minutes for ASAP.
It could save us some money if we had an experienced city administrator that already had some resources to delve into this kind of thing. We may have that. There's still that option.
Most of this will be handled by attorneys. Our city ordinances, that's going to be attorneys. Our department SOP, SOGs, attorneys are going to go over them to make sure that they're correct. And they don't put us in any liability. The employee handbook is going to be a key part of it. Citizens just can't go and say, okay, that's what we want. It's handbook.
When you get it taken care of in the least expensive, less expensive manner.
Unfortunately, most of this stuff is probably well into legal. I think, looks like it.
So certainly, for personnel policies, there's a lot of legal issues involved in that. And there's also a lot of, how you want to handle issues, like how much leave you want to provide. Those are certainly within the city's discretion. But there's an awful lot of personnel policy that's also very important that you handle properly. And so in our office, reviews personnel policies regularly. When it comes to SOPs and SOGs, certainly we don't know the specific police required procedures, but we can look at them and make sure that they appear to be constitutionally correct and make sense and are consistent and that kind of thing. we're not gonna insert ourselves into the role of the police or firemen and tell them, this is how you pull hose off the truck, right? We're just not gonna do that, right?
Sure.
But there is an awful lot we can do to assist, to just help in clarity, consistency, and that kind of thing. Your ordinances, obviously, we would absolutely help with that and make sure that those are legal and we have the juvenile works there as well.
You are the, pretty much the HR expert over tows right now.
I handle all of our firm's personnel matters. Yes, sir.
Do we have to put this out for bid like we did with the engineer, or do we just assign our current attorney to take care of this? How do we handle that?
Depends on if you want to keep it in-house with our attorney or hire a third party. And I guess we'll also third parties if your contract over it.
But it wouldn't require, if you'd like for us to do that work, it wouldn't require any additional proposal to be, unless you just wish to do that.
Give us 15% discount on volume.
20.
Unfortunately, you don't.
10.
I wouldn't mind asking for some prices if we do something like this. No, yeah, they'll review it anyway, so it may not save us any money.
We can break it down and we just do a couple of these things, do them all, they kind of all need to be done no matter what.
What's the most pressing besides the handbook?
Handbook, ordinances, that's how we rule by ordinance. I can tell somebody that, hey, you can't put a mobile home park, or a mobile home in because it's not a mobile home park or it's not in an R3 district. Well, that is that what the law says? No, you're not, that's what the ordinances say. So if I have to tell people, they call me what our ordinances say, and it conflicts with the law, it's kind of an issue. The SOPs need to be looked over. We don't have a whole bunch of policies or procedures in place in the city.
Well, I think if we get a city administrator, they can work with our law firm to get these things done without having to go get another third party involved. Because we have our HR specialists that are, that we shouldn't have to go out and redo the process.
Tows is perfect table, and
Absolutely. Yes. And we would, if you do get a city administrator in place, we would absolutely work with that individual. And saying, have them to assist in setting priorities and looking through where stuff.
we'll still have a couple of legal queries, so can we go ahead and go, maybe and see and talk about this one too, go back.
Closed meeting for the city of Godley, Texas will now be held pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Codes. 551.071, 551.074. For items 6A, 6B, 6C, and 6L. Was going into executive session at 19:29.
I'm pretty sure I can get out there with the whole. I don't know. But she sure was playing. Are you gonna She was.
Are all these for me? I'm only gonna eat like one. Is there one pop? Yeah.
Equal you can. What the constitution that word? So your top stuff is good. It's not bad. Enjoy my combat today.
Aren't you glad you did?
He can pull up. Yeah, it gets on his knees and kind of squats down. He is a long doctor today. For his 9-month child, and he's 30. 30 points. No kidding. She did sit at the
Critical?
And they were 3 years old. She was wrestling at this one, and this one was standing up in the high chair, and then the baby was falling. And the daughter was watching 3-year-olds there. Talking about it as a 10-month-old, and she's wanting to have another one.
The Godley City Council adjourned its executive session at 2022, and reconvened into open session at 2028. Item L, discussion and possible action on hiring a third party to review and investigate and revise all city ordinances, all department SOPs, employee handbook, and other policies and procedures under conflict areas. I'll make a motion for our city attorneys to review, investigate, and revise all city ordinances, department SOPs, employee handbook, and other policies and procedures as the council directs, starting off with the city ordinances and employee handbook.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion, Scott?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item A, discussion of possible action on the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer, city secretary.
Make a motion to postpone item 6A until the 10/17 week. Or, student action. Why? Make a motion to amend my motion. Make a motion to amend my motion to.
There was never a second, so your motion is on the floor. So it has to lack a second.
Perfect. Make a motion to take no, for no action on item 6A.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second for no action. Any further discussion? No further discussion, Scott?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. 6B, discussion of possible action on the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer, administrative assistant.
Make a motion to make an offer to, should I name her? Yeah, Amber Trammell, for administrative assistant.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to offer Amber Trammell the position of administrative assistant. Any further discussion? No further discussion, Scott?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item 6C, discussion of possible action on the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or city administrator.
Make a motion to continue contract negotiations on item 6C.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? Any further discussion, Scott?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Community interest items. 7A, our open house for the public meeting for the Godley Comprehensive Plan will be held November 6, 2023 from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Godley High School Commons area at 9501 North Highway 171. Our steering committee will be there to present the final plan or draft plan before it comes to council. 7B, City of Godley, the Godley ISD will be holding a joint trunk or treat at the high school. They're still nailing down a date for the trunk or treats right at the same time. We try not to be too much. It'll be sometime at the end of October. We'll have to wait with this focus on the big screen.
For voters?
What?
Focus for voters?
Yes.
That's good too.
We have one then.
I remember that.
Every
You remember that one, Roger?
Cool, good.
Yes.
Item 7C, the Godley Lions Club Flower Sale will be October 14th from 10 to 1400 at the Godley Fire Department. So lots of flowers. Don't have anything else.
Sure.
Make a motion to adjourn at 20:30.
Second.
Motion by Scott, further discussion.